right. And we are live. All right. What's going on? What is going on, y'all? I'm in the middle of working out, but I thought I'd go ahead and make a video real quick. Shout out to my new subscribers, my old school subscribers, and my TikTok family. Wasn't for you guys, none of this would be possible. Scroll down here. Look, y'all, I'm not going to hold you too long. Just want to talk real quickly about women and how marriage is set up for them and not for us. Hang on, you guys. So if you're still thinking about getting married in the West, you lost your mind, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and react to this video where the women were somewhat agreeing, but, you know. Let's turn that down. All right. I appreciate all the subscriptions. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate you guys. The channel is growing fast. And as the channel is growing fast, I'm trying to make sure I have a lot of diverse content for you guys to watch. Make sure my audio is right. Looking good? Sounding good? Yeah, so, you know, I was just watching, you know, I'm always watching content because I have to find stuff to react to, stuff to make content off of. And I stumbled across this video, you know, Valuetainment Money. This guy, he has pretty good content. He likes asking a lot of good questions. I noticed him, or I first seen him when I was watching Crimson Cure. You know, she has a great channel, and or it might have been Danica Marie. I think it's Crimson Cure. Either way, one of those two was talking about how this guy, he likes to ask the right kind of questions. He kind of like sets them up a little bit, you know what I mean? Kind of like, you know, throws them these alley-oop questions and they can't kind of really see. But he's really just kind of like trying to see where their head's at. But I wanted to make a quick reaction video, nothing too long. It's getting dark, y'all, at like 8, no, more like 7 now. So I'm used to going live at 8 and with my kid, having to cook and things like that. I'm going to have to rework my schedule out, which I got a new routine now. But we'll be doing these reaction videos because I'm not going to be out there in the dark. I'm trying to make sure that the videos are getting the light that they need. You guys are kind of picky and the algorithm kind of wants a different kind of thing. So we're going to start doing these more often. With no further ado, I'm going to go ahead, hook everything up. Now remember, this is the modern woman's reaction to marriage and how they feel about prenups. Okay? Let's see if the audio is still going to be right. Haven't done one in a while.
Older, you're hearing all this. I'm sure you know the ladies that we talked about. You heard the ladies respond. What's your advice to men these days? You see these women advocate.
Fair use, fair use. You guys let me know if the audio is good. Remember also to like the video, subscribe, join the tribe, and share the live, okay? I appreciate you guys. Do me a favor, you know, type a 1 in the chat if the audio is good. Let me know something. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of fooling around and switching around whenever you're trying to do one of these. If the audio is not working, let me know. Let's go. Fair use. Fair use.
Advocating for divorce. You coach a lot of men. You know, you said, I'm married to the game, right? So what's your advice for the average dude out there that's looking to have a pretty woman in his life? Should he get married? Should he never get married? How do you raise kids? What's your best approach?
Well, one, I'll say to that lady who was talking, misery loves company. So, you know, nobody wants to be single and divorced by themselves. Exactly. And as far as dudes, you should never get married. There's no benefit to a man to get married. If you can tell me one, you can tell me one. If one of these ladies wants to give me a benefit for the man, but there's no benefit for a man to get married. You understand? It benefits the woman more, so there's really no point. You know, marriage is what a made up idea. You know, so I don't need the government and a piece of paper to make you not leave me. You know, you could leave me, you could cheat on me regardless of this paper. So why do we need it? So if you leave, you could take half of what I have. So it's really just not a smart business decision.
Exactly. And we all know everything in this country is a business, and it's about business, and business is not going to be good for you if you get into these constitutions, you know, with the idea that the person that you're getting into it with has the same mindset as you do, and women don't. They move different, okay? So we need to move different, and this whole idea of marriage, why can't we have some type of understanding without there needing to be paperwork and, you know, the government being all in our business, so that way whenever we go our separate ways, they're able to still have their claws into us to allow the woman, because I'm telling you guys, you know, it's modern day slavery with these women out here who, you know, they're the ones that are the most, they're the biggest consumers. We get with them, and now the government has access to our pockets and our funds through them. And then once, you know, they decide to leave, then once again the government gives them more access to our pockets, you know, by taking most of everything, and then, you know, spending money on unnecessary things and giving our money right back into the system. That's the reason why they set things up this way, because men that move smart do not waste money. We don't waste money into the system in a social construct. Only women do that stuff. And the only time men do waste money when it comes to the social construct is when they're trying to make sure that they're having things that appeal to women so that women will be attracted to them. It's just the way that it is. So once you wake up to this and you're like, well, hold up, you mean to tell me I'm enslaved through women? I'm being enslaved through women. All the different tactics women have, gaslighting you, trying to call you names, trying to, you know, call you zesty, all this different crap. What are you doing with that? So you're going to shame me because I don't want to be with you? It's because you are being backed by society that's giving you movies and things of this nature and different talking points to be able to try to project your emotional triggers from being turned down by men that don't want you. And we're sitting in here on these podcasts and arguing with these leftover women. There's no need to argue with them. They're going to age out. There's no need to. Let's continue.
So where do you factor in prenups, paperwork, arrangements, right? Because you're 24 years old, right? You got married, you're how old?
23.
23. You got engaged, almost married when you were 19.
They're useless.
You don't have any money. You ain't got shit going on.
Yeah.
You think, oh, what are you going to take? Half of my fucking snack pack over here? Like, I don't have anything. So this is what I say for most men, like at this point in my life, if I ever get married, because I was engaged for a long time, had a prenup, thank God. If I ever get married again, believe me, I got too much to lose at this point. But when that's why I tell people, guys should wait their time, and women should prioritize their time and maximize their time. But for young men out there, did you just say, don't ever get married? Even older men? Like, is it across the board? Is it a blanket statement?
If you have nothing to get taken from you.
Again, you know, this guy, I can't remember what his name is, Alex or whatever. He likes asking the right kind of questions. But remember, he's coming from the perspective of a millionaire, okay, because he's already there. And let's be real, a lot of these guys get their women through their money. And so when, I'm trying to put this right, the way he just tried to frame it to make it seem like, well, you know, I tell young guys, why give up on the whole concept of marriage if you are young or you're broke or you're not a millionaire yet? She's not going to take nothing of yours anyway, so why, you know what I'm saying? Why not at least give it a shot? Look, I'll give it to him to where if you really believe in marriage, don't do it while you're young. Definitely do it after you're established. You've spoken to other men that's gone through it. You've seen both sides of it. And then you make a discerned decision. But just listening to a millionaire tell you, listen, man, let me tell you something about money. It's an energy. And when you're a man and you're on your purpose and all you see is your end goal, money is only a matter of time. Anybody with two eyes and a little bit of sense can see that. So if you get gaslit by somebody who already got there, it doesn't really matter what he says because you know where you're going and you have goals. Also, if you're able to pull women and you don't have quote unquote money, which they don't know where your money's at, but you're not a millionaire, definitely not that. If you're not a millionaire and you're able to pull women, see, this is something that bothers millionaire men that can only get women through their money. A lot of these guys, you can look at them and tell, look in their eyes and look at the way they move. You can tell they barely get women now, and they definitely weren't getting women prior to getting money. Men like me, this brother right here, we get women just walking outside. We don't need money to get it. We don't need swag to get them. We don't, you know what I'm saying? We just have a natural charisma and energy about us. Therefore, when we're moving around, which I kind of feel like this dude that's doing the interview kind of threw a little shade out there talking about, well, you know, you ain't got no money right now. Why are you really worried about it? You know, it doesn't really matter where his money's at. If his mindset is right and he already know the game, why? Don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? Dude will get married when he feels like getting married if he feels like doing that. If he doesn't, then he won't. But let me tell you something. It's set up for women. And if you're a kind of guy that you're on your purpose now, whatever you're going through, or if you've never had to go through anything, you're on your purpose, you're grinding every day, you got the discipline, you got the resilience, and you're focused, right? Money is an inevitability because you have found your purpose, you're connected to your higher self, so abundance is going to come in left and right. You're already spiritually abundant, so the money's going to come in. There's no worries. Anybody can see that. But again, it's funny to me, I'm putting this in there because it's funny to me seeing rich guys. I don't want to hear your point of view if you look like you're a lame and a sucker, man. I don't want to hear it. If you look like you weren't getting women prior to having money, I don't need your advice on anything, except maybe how to make money, but definitely not about women. He doesn't look like he was getting women prior to having money, and I could be wrong. I doubt it. You know what I'm saying? This dude right here, listen, you could tell he's getting women, man. You know what I'm saying? Dudes just have a certain energy about them, you know, where they could care less if they come or go, say what they got to say in front of them. You can tell. You know what I'm saying? You can tell when a dude's getting women. So, you know what I'm saying? It's a matter of perspective. To me, I'm listening to the brother that ain't got his money where he needs to be at yet when it comes to getting women, but he seemed like all the women in there are attracted to him. I'm not going to listen to the one that's sitting in there asking the questions that has the money already. But again, there's guys that need money to be handsome, and then there's guys that don't really need nothing to be handsome and be attractive to women. And see, the money guy is going to get that money cooch. She's going to give it to him the money way. But see, dudes like me and dudes like this, we're going to get that wild cooch, man. The kind of cooch that the money guy wants, but you know what I mean, he ain't got that kind of energy to get. You know what I mean? But again, we're staying on the fact that marriage is a waste of time. But I wanted to segue that in there because a lot of guys act like that they had money all their life, like they didn't go through what they had to go through to get to where they're at. And then once they get there, it's, oh, he broke, she broke. Oh, it's all. Shut your goofy. If you can't make any other argument other than you have money now or assume that you have a bunch of money, I don't know what you're doing or how much debt you have. And the only thing you can say, the only thing you can say is talk about is people being broke and, you know, they don't have money. And you got to do better than that, man. Because with people that are ambitious, like I said, it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. But let's keep it trucking. I'm on a time schedule.
Then yeah, go ahead, get married. But if you have something worth losing, no, don't get married.
Do you advocate also not living with women then?
Not what?
Not living with women.
No, I don't not advocate that. You could live with a woman.
So can you live with a woman for like 3 years but just not marry her?
You could live with a woman for 20 years.
But then she's entitled to everything that she would be in a marriage.
In what state?
Most states.
Not all states.
What about kids?
My man got the game locked down. She's like, oh, well, you know, common law marriage. And he's like, not in all states. I've done my research. Not in all states. And she said, most states. Well, okay. I'll just go to one that it ain't there. Is that all right with you?
It's like legally after 7 years.
Yeah, I don't think that's every state though.
Well, he's saying to keep it pure, like as long as you don't have a contract saying that if one of us screws this up, we get something out of it, or I can tank you, then you know at least your love is genuine because I can leave whenever I want, right?
Yeah,
it's almost like a business. But you can get a contract to avoid that. It's called a prenup.
But if you live together,
to set it up so that even if you're married, would
prenups are not fail proof, okay? And again, why is she so adamant about pushing for this? Why is she like, you know what I'm saying? We're going to get into this one lady. She's going to start running off at the mouth and talking all this crazy stuff. But again, if you're in it for love, what do you need the contract for? If you trust the man and you're really following his leadership, what do you need the contract for? What do you need your fail-safe plan for? Because you really don't trust them. Because you're really just projecting insecurities from your childhood and daddy issues onto him, right? All these insecurities that you don't trust men and that, you know, and then act like you do. If you need the government to be big daddy to you and your man in the event that things don't work out, you're not in it for the right reasons. Especially if the man's mind's on right and he's like, I don't want to do that, and you're trying to convince him to do it. No, man. No.
Somebody,
So then what would
and
be
then
the
you
point?
leave. The contract says you leave with what you came with.
So what was the benefit of us getting married?
Well, it was a benefit in the sense that you're making a commitment to this person, and you decide to go to the extreme of signing documents and putting money into it and having this whole experience and having a family and building and so on and so forth, that you can protect yourself by making that. It's just like any type of investment you make. You get insurance.
Well, let me ask you guys this last question. So I hear you. Like, men, especially since a lot of podcasts like this have popped up, these conversations happen, and I'm friends with a lot of the guys that do this. They say, listen, why? It makes no sense for a guy, especially a successful guy, right? You know, I have a lot of buddies that are married, successful guys. Now they've been married 10 years. They got married in their early 30s. They're in their early 40s now. We're starting to see some divorces start to occur. It's not so much the great divorce, but it's starting to occur. Right. Got it. But, you know, they say it takes two to tango, that whole deal. I totally understand where you're coming from, especially if you have too much to lose. But I want to understand from the ladies. You're dating a guy. It's been 2 years, 3 years, whatever. You're 26, 24, 28, 32, whatever. It's time to get married, right? You said you're 29, 27. All right. You're dating a guy. You don't have the marriage conversation the first day. We get it. You're dating. And you want to have that conversation. He goes, look, baby, I love you. All right? I want to be with you. I want to spend my time with you. I want to have kids with you. I want to have a family with you. I just can't do the government marriage thing. I'll marry you in a courthouse. I'm not in a courthouse. I'll marry you in a church, in a temple.
See, one that's riding for you ain't gonna have a problem with your leadership with this. You know, you get one that gives you pushback, then you need to go ahead and let her find that dream man that wants to throw his life away, you know, with the system being his daddy. You know, like any guy that's already going through this problem or seen other guys go through it, they're not going to, there's no, listen, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. Period, point blank. I'm just going to be real with you. It's just not worth it.
Temple and a mosque. We'll go to the beach. We'll go away. We'll do a destination. I can't. I have too much to lose. You know, I would love to be with you forever. I can't do it. I want to be with you. I just can't actually do the paperwork. What would you say?
I'm fine with that. If we have the whole lifestyle, like living together with kids and a party to celebrate our love, and it's pure like that, I'm totally fine with that. I'm not dependent on a man really for like anything financial. I can take care of myself. So if we're like naturally and organically coming together, I'm completely fine with that lifestyle.
But that's easy to say when you don't have kids, sweetheart. Of course, when you pop out 2, 3 kids, you're not going to be like, listen, I don't need a man. I can take care of myself. No. You're literally going to be taking care of the kids.
Well, we'll have, I would assume
not.
another like kind of agreement that we're 50-50 responsible for the children.
Okay, so there is an agreement now.
Yeah, but we're not talking about a marriage contract, right?
Okay.
Right. So I'm okay
I'm
with
asking
the
you guys what would work in that.
Absolutely not.
What are you going to say?
I don't know. If you've been common law for 3 years, you're basically entitled to anything that a married woman is. So if a guy was
Is that actually fact, though?
Yes.
Common law,
Yes.
you're entitled to any...
Well, listen, before we get in the weeds of this, why is she worried about that? This chick was like, absolutely not. And starts going into details of common law marriage and things like that. Man, they're thinking about contracts and making sure that you're required to fork out. That's all they're thinking about, man. Just like the video that I posted on TikTok where Crimson Cure was talking about the modern woman is basically a streetwalker. It has to have a financial attachment to it for her to commit to you in any kind of way. There has to be some type of financial attachment security for her to rock with you. And then she gaslights you and say, well, I just, and I need for you to show, and you don't need for nothing, man. You can just go and find a sap or a sucker somewhere else. I don't have to give you nothing. I'm not going to give you nothing. I'm not going to sit here and listen to these women and social media and TV and radio and all this other crazy stuff try to convince me that I need to get married in a bad situation where if things don't work out, the woman just automatically runs away with everything, right? No, we're not going to do that.
Anything?
Careful now.
Basically, yeah, everything. It's
For like 3 weeks,
You're
relax.
entitled to alimony as well. You're also entitled to child.
On what state?
Most states. I think you'd have to find me a state
Okay,
that doesn't.
It's not all of them, but the fact still remains that you don't need to have a woman shacking up with you. All that they're letting you know is like, don't marry them, don't let them move in. Don't let them leave anything at your house. Don't marry them, don't let them move in. Listen how they're thinking and stuff. They're all concerned with common law marriage and what's going to go through with the divorce and what states allow that kind of nonsense. When you start looking at how they move, you're just like, why in the world would I want one of these things? I'm just going to go overseas and get a feminine woman, or do what I have to do, wait until, you know what I'm saying, maybe a friend of, mine or a friend of the family knows somebody that really they consider to be a good woman, because this kind of stuff right here, man, modern women, man.
Malik, we're going to need to Google that real quick. So common law marriage kicks in if you're living together for 3 years?
I thought it was seven.
It depends on the
I've heard
state.
7.
Yeah,
So some states
I've
are
heard
2.
7.
depend on the state.
Wait,
know
then
New
I need
York
to go
is
back in
7.
time if
Yeah.
that's the case. Because
Some states are 2, some are 3,
relationship.
some are
3
5,
years.
and some are like it's all. But the
So
basically what I'd
common
say to him
law.
is, I'd say
We got to look into this,
Yeah.
Goldie.
Yeah, fact check
I'd
that.
tell
Thought you
him
knew
to look
about
at the law.
this. Kate, you're with some dude. You're together a couple years. I love you, baby. Let's do this.
Also know that there's not a diverse group of women up here. There seems to be majority European women, and European women tend to have a mindset. Okay, we're not going to say that like it's not a thing. We're not going to do it. They will be worried about that money. To me, they seem to be the quickest to go ahead and divorce and step out and use hypergamy. All I'm saying is I was watching a video where one lady was like, yeah, he was like, what makes you so great or whatever? You seem to be about average. She's like, oh, I'm somewhat pretty and I'm alright. That doesn't mean anything. I don't know why y'all think it does. It don't. Not nowadays, man. Men are looking for good women. You thinking what society's try to force onto us to be the picture of beauty is not what men are looking for. That's not. So thinking that is going to be an asset to you and some kind of step up for you to be able to do whatever you want to do to men or whatever. No, it's not. I'm going to put this in here real quick because it needs to be segmented, because if you look at the panel, you can clearly see what it looks like, what it's built of, and my own personal experience with European women just seems to be that way. I'm just going to be honest. You take how you want to take it. There's such thing as called, white girl wasted. It's a thing. I didn't make that up. Right? Why do you think it's called? It's a thing. Because they get drunk and they just do whatever. I was drunk. I'm not doing that stuff, man. Doing that stuff.
This is a family. You just can't get married to the government. What would you say?
I would say, no, I'd leave because...
Also, on the other side of things, black women out there, I've heard this being said. Yeah, these black men that go and date other races, they end up coming back to black. You need not worry about none of that. You need to worry about who you messing around with. That's your problem too. Okay, on the other side, worrying about who black men are with, but you claim you don't want us, got all these different things to say about us, and we don't know what skeletons you have in your closet, what Brads or Bradys you have going on, right? So don't start this crap, man. Just chill out. Stop looking for weaknesses in everybody's armor and take care of yourself and get your own house in order. If you're a woman without a man, you got a lot of work to do. Don't be worrying about if men are going and messing with other communities of women, or you worry about your own community, you worry about yourself. Getting on here whining about men going and having other options. Let me tell you something. You look at the stats and you understand why the options are the way they are. When you're the least dated and then you're one of the most highly dated, you tend to have different options. If it was switched around, I guarantee the conversation would be different. So when you have a lack of options, of course, you're going to speak from a lack of options. When you have an abundance of options, then you're going to use those options. So please stop bringing that up like we're dumb. I don't care what you think about who we should mess around with. I don't care. You gonna try to lock me into one group of women and then all or most of y'all are trying to act up? And I'm not saying that about I just, said what I said about European women. I'm just saying I don't need to be locked into any group of any woman. We can date whoever we want to date. It is whoever is going to be acting and aligned in a traditional feminine fashion. That's it. Listen, stop gaslighting. It makes y'all look worse every time you do it. It makes you look jaded for no reason. Just work on yourselves.
I think that...
You said you would leave?
Yeah, because to me it's I think that when you go into a marriage and you're agreeing to make that commitment to each other, like there's a matter of like trust that you have within the relationship and the bond that like you're creating. And if you're going to go into that and you have to have like a backup plan for yourself.
Why can't this woman be still? This one in the middle just cannot be still.
Or like a safety net, then you're already expecting it to fail. You're not completely invested in the marriage or the relationship in general. Like you're already anticipating that it's not going to work out. So why would I go into it with you if you're not planning that it's going to work out and you're not trusting that we're going to work it out and be together?
Let me ask you something. You bring up a good point. You drive a car?
I do.
What kind of car?
It's a Honda.
That a girl? What kind of car insurance you got?
It like all the insurance on the, I don't know, it's
You got car insurance?
I do.
Okay. You're a pretty healthy girl, right?
I think so.
Okay, what kind of health insurance you got?
It's my mom's.
Okay, but you have health insurance.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So even though you're healthy, you have health insurance.
Okay.
Even though you have a car, you're never in a car accident, you have car.
He's taking a long way to get around to saying that, having a prenup is just as important as having it. Everybody has their own way to justify their life experience and the way they live their life. So when women want to run around and want to be promiscuous in their 20s, early 30s, and then want to settle down, and when someone brings up stuff like this and then talk about, not alimony, but prenups, and then she got this whole little, she got this whole spiel in her head that she just ran through. She's unpracticed, rehearsed, studied it, and spilt it out. And he just destroyed it, just basing it off of having car insurance, having health insurance, that whole spiel that she collected on the internet to justify why women don't like, prenups or whatever, when he just, discredited the whole thing. It's a waste of time having these conversations. They're not going to change the way that they think, and we're not going to change what we think about them. Now they're online just making money, but we don't need to entertain stuff like this because, again, ladies don't think like bimbos. Bimbos don't think like ladies, and most of these women out here are bimbos. So you got to look for a lady. Period. Point blank.
Car insurance.
Yes.
What if I were to tell you that the prenup is just divorce insurance?
I get the concept behind it 100%. Like
If you got it, there would be no debate. I cannot stand that either. I get it, but I understand. However, once you say however, but, it negates everything before it. Like, it's, again, these are all different manipulative conversation, psychological, manipulation tactics. That's what these are, man. Women trying to convince you to go outside of your boundary to settle for one of them.
I understand like the logic of like you need to protect yourself and everything, but I just don't think in my particular situation I would feel comfortable then going into that, like having kids.
Then don't. Let's keep it trucking.
It's raising a whole family and doing all of these things with paper.
What happens if there was an agreement? Like, look, I'm not going to leave you high and dry.
But then what's the difference between...
I just don't want a court or the government telling us what we need to do. I want us to tell us what we need to do. And
it's crazy. She's sitting here saying, what's the difference? He can give the same argument. What's the difference? She's like, well, what's the difference? Get the court paperwork. And he's like, what's the difference if we love each other? You see what I'm saying, man? Like, let these women go out here and be 304s so that the alphas, and when we want to have fun with them, and stop arguing with them about the way they want to live their life. Just don't marry them. Don't marry them.
Here's the paperwork, and we're going to... I don't want to marry you, but I'll marry you. What do you say this?
Listen, for me, I date to marry. And prenup is another thing. Like, I've dated millionaires in the past, and I was always upfront with the idea of I don't care about prenup, because if I don't have as much as the guy I'm dating, and he's already built his empire.
Yeah, she's kind of on up in age, so, you know what I'm saying, she's giving the perspective from post-wall. Look at her face. No offense. Fair use, fair use.
alone and he has all that money and he wants a prenup. That is one thing like I can get in the future without
Wrap this
Prenup.
up.
Of course, get a
I'm
prenup.
fine with the
You didn't
prenup
need
as
it.
well. Yeah.
What did you say?
As long as I get an engagement ring, a wedding ring, and a destination location wedding, we call each other husband and wife, then I'm fine. We don't need actually to get married with the courthouse.
As long as I get this,
Well, I want
and this, I
I
don't
want
need
a
to
big
get married.
ring.
He still wants to be
Okay.
trophy wife.
How about you, Lydia?
I could deal with that. She said we ain't got to involve the court, but you know, again, you got to move to a state where common law marriage ain't a thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so my end goal for marriage is to have children, so I'm not getting into a marriage unless we're signing contracts and going to be legally married.
Stay away from her. She can't even look. Let me tell you something else about eye contact, right? And again, a lot of y'all think I study psychology. I don't study shit. This is all natural from God. It's just downloads coming through, and I pick up on what God's putting down. I haven't studied nothing. I just know human behavior through God. That's it. I'm very observant. Probably the most observant person you've ever seen in your life. That's it. You know what I'm saying? So I have not studied none of this stuff. I didn't go to school to become an engineer. Why would I start studying stuff now? I will continue to let God give me downloads. But when you see women that cannot make eye contact, I noticed this when content creators make content. When a woman's getting ready to say a bunch of BS, she will break contact with the camera, even though there's no one on the other end. It's just a subliminal knowing that she's lying, knowing that whatever she's putting out, even if it's not a lie, it doesn't make any sense. That, no man's they'll look away. They'll look away every time. The only time they look into the camera is when they're saying something that's a fact type of thing that most people know are fact. But when they're saying delusional stuff, they'll look away. They look around. They never look at the camera. They never look at you directly either when they're doing this kind of stuff. If one of them does, she's a psycho. Run even faster.
On paper, because again, I want to have children. I need that security. So when I do get pregnant, I can't work for months on end, and even afterwards, I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm secure in my marriage. We're good. He's working. I can take care of the children.
So you're saying. So what did you say you would agree to or not agree
So
to?
no, like we have to be married on paper.
Okay, but I guess the question here is who's not willing to sign a prenup?
Okay, you get the gist of it. You guys running up to about 30 minutes. I don't want to go over 30 minutes, but you see what's going on here, right? A lot of them have their own mindset, about marriage. You can see the stats about marriage. None of it's in men's favor. Don't do it. It doesn't matter what she says. And if she's telling you that she's a good girl and she's only been with a few, you got to multiply that by 2 or 3, or 4 sometimes, especially if they go crazy and say something under 5. You got to multiply that by 10 sometimes. That's crazy. To lie and say you have under 5 men, lady, stop it, man. Stop it. So again, guys, I appreciate you guys. Remember, like the video, share the video, subscribe, and join the tribe, y'all. I'm going to do these more often now it's getting darker earlier, and I'm also going to do them more often on my podcast channel. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Stay blessed. Have a great night. Don't be up too late.